The game Echoes of the End is not just a new action-adventure title. It marks the professional debut of the fresh-faced studio Merkur Games. This studio, a 40-person team in Reykjavik, Iceland, has showcased its ambition by creating a deep fantasy world and a personal narrative within a single-player, third-person action-adventure game. The title, known as an AA game between indie and major AAA budgets, was published by the renowned Deep Silver and released on August 12, 2025 for Windows, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X and S. Despite this ambition, the feedback on the game since its release has been highly contradictory and polarized. Some critics have called the title an incredible debut and a shockingly great game. This contrasts sharply with other reviews and opinions that describe it as an ambitious but, unfortunately, unpolished project with many minor issues. This significant difference in opinion highlights the need for a deep, comprehensive analysis to determine whether Echoes of the End is a magnificent first step for a fledgling studio or an ambitious effort that failed to meet heavy expectations.
The world has learned to fear the vestige. I pray we haven't learned too late.
The story of Echoes of the End is set in a fantasy world called Aema, where nations protect their borders with warts. The player takes on a role of the protagonist, Rin, a young and powerful woman with magical abilities called a vestige, who has been ostracized from society because of her powers. The game's narrative begins with the kidnapping of Rin's brother, Thor, by the rival kingdom of Riajindal during a border patrol. This incident launches Rin on an epic quest to save her brother. On this journey, she forms an alliance with an unexpected family friend and scholar named Abram. Together, they not only seek to rescue Sior, but also gradually uncover a larger ancient conspiracy that could plunge the world into all-out war. The game's story begins on a difficult path, and this is one of the points that critics and players have noted. Many world-building and lore details are not properly explained at the beginning. The characters, especially in the early sections, speak as if the player is already familiar with all the events and terminology, and even reading in-game notes does little to fill in these informational gaps. This forces the player to make assumptions and contend with a vague narrative flow to fully understand the story. This narrative approach, which might be a developer's attempt to create a sense of immersion and discovery, in practice leads to initial player confusion and a loss of narrative cohesion. However, analyses show that if the player is patient and pushes through this early stage, the story finds its rhythm and coherence in the second half of the game. At this point, the game begins to provide more humanizing moments and a stronger narrative. During her journey, Rin learns lessons about trust and self-forgiveness and gains a deeper understanding of her powers. This character transformation, along with the dialogue between Rin and Abram, which has been compared to the dynamic between Kratos and Atreus, adds depth to the narrative and elevates it beyond a simple fantasy story. This gradual evolution becomes a reward for the player's patience and shows that there is a high narrative potential at the heart of this title, even if it is not initially apparent due to poor information delivery.
End of our theories.
What the hell is going on? First the Dalsman and that vestige, and now this? Tell me exactly what you know. Why are the Dalsmen here? And what does any of this have to do with Balestin's research?
Your father had a lot of ideas about wards and vestiges. Now, I know why. This was one of his theories. Given time and the right training, a vestige might be able to pierce the ward's very core and shatter it from within.
One of the most highly praised aspects of Echoes of the End is its world building, which is directly inspired by the breathtaking landscapes and rich culture of Iceland. This inspiration has led to the creation of visually stunning environments that critics have described as breathtaking and beautiful. From snowy cliffs to mysterious ruins and golden fields, every location is designed with meticulous detail and excellent lighting, ensuring that these landscapes remain in the player's mind long after the game is over. This unique art style not only serves as a visual strength, but also gives the game a special identity that sets it apart from common fantasy titles and reflects the roots of the development studio.
For months with a yardstick, making sure it was all symmetrical.
Yeah. Guess I thought the aesthetic might have been your contribution.
I see you got your mom's sense of humor.
I see you got dad's.
Whoa.
There. That's the next ward.
What a view. I don't think I'll ever get tired of this.
Give it a few years.
Despite being classified as an action-adventure game, A large part of Echoes of the End's gameplay revolves around solving puzzles. Puzzles constitute the dominant part of the game experience, with action taking a back seat in comparison. This approach makes the game an excellent choice for players who prefer intellectual challenges to physical combat. The puzzle-solving mechanics are designed around the cooperation between Rin and Abram. Rin uses her vestige powers to move objects and power structures, while Abram can freeze objects in specific locations. This dual mechanic creates innovative solutions that require precision, timing, and thinking outside the box. An intelligent hint system also helps when the player struggles to find the next path.
Haha.
There.
Lucky for me, you're around. Can you clear that
Hey, that seems to have done it.
Great work.
The sword combat and Rin's magical powers initially give the player a sense of power and effectiveness. Abilities like draining health from enemies, throwing them into each other, or pushing them back feel satisfying, and their animations have been praised. However, as the game progresses, it becomes clear that the combat system lacks significant depth. Although the game features a skill tree for upgrades, these upgrades do not make a dramatic difference to the combat experience, and it's even possible to finish the game without using them. Furthermore, the combat system is plagued by multiple technical issues. Target locking often doesn't work correctly, and attacks may be directed in a completely different direction from the player's target. Input buttons and commands are sometimes unresponsive. A player cannot cancel attacks to dodge or block in time, leading to a janky and occasionally frustrating experience. The comparison of the game to big-budget titles like God of War, made by both critics and users, is a double-edged sword for Merkur Games. On one hand, this comparison shows the studio's success in creating a narrative and visual experience on par with AAA titles. The camera style, companion system, and the mix of action, puzzles, and exploration all echo the major games in this genre. However, this comparison unintentionally creates expectations for technical quality and gameplay depth that a new studio with limited resources has been unable to meet. The technical issues and lack of depth in combat are not merely random bugs, but a direct result of the gap between the development team's ambition and their ability to deliver a completely polished product. This contradiction is the main reason for the mixed reviews the game has received. The graphics of Echoes of the End, built using the Unreal Engine 5, are often cited as its biggest strength and most notable achievement. The game's world and environments are visually breathtaking and feature stunning landscapes that are memorable. The lighting in internal locations, such as caves and buildings, is also designed with high detail and impact. This meticulous attention to detail in environmental design, along with the quality of textures and character models, makes the game a superb visual experience, although in rare cases, less detailed textures are also noticeable. The voice acting is another controversial subject that has received contradictory feedback. On one hand, some sources have described the voice acting as top tier and praised its authenticity and accent, especially for the main characters. Specifically, Rin's actress has been commended, and her performance has even been compared to that found in major cinematic titles. This suggests that in some areas, the voice acting has reached a very high level of quality. However, other reviews and feedback exist that call the voice acting disappointing and point to a lack of emotion in crucial scenes or poor performance by some minor characters. This inconsistency in quality indicates a fundamental production issue. It seems that Merkur Games did not have enough resources to ensure uniform quality across all sections. They were able to cast and direct the main actors well, but the voice acting quality for all characters was not consistently maintained, which ultimately harms the overall game experience.
You okay?
Don't touch me.
Just relax. Breathe. In, out. In, out.
Shut
In.
up and back off.
I'm not scared of you.
That just means you're careless. Didn't that teach you anything?
I'm sorry. Well, hey, look, no scars this time.
Dropped a bead. You need to be more careful.
It's a hair bead, okay? It's not a big deal.
It is a big deal.
One of the most significant weaknesses of Echoes of the End is its lack of technical polish. Multiple reports point to the presence of visual bugs, wonky animations, and general technical problems. For example, some players have gotten stuck in the game's landscape, and animations are sometimes unstable and unpredictable. These issues, combined with the shallow and flawed combat system, create an experience that falls short of what is expected from an action-adventure game. Although the game's official system requirements have been released and seem reasonable at first glance, a deeper analysis of the game's performance tells a different story. To experience smooth gameplay 60 frames per second, at high resolutions, even very powerful hardware is pushed to its limits. This indicates poor game optimization, likely a result of a small, inexperienced team using the Unreal Engine 5. This makes the game a challenging experience for a wide range of players with mid-range hardware, resulting in low frame rates for them. This technical issue is one of the main reasons for user dissatisfaction and the mixed reviews the game has received. However, there is one positive note about this project. Merkur Games has quickly responded to post-launch feedback. They have released multiple patches to fix critical bugs and improve performance. This quick and positive reaction shows the studio's commitment to improving the game and listening to the player community, which raises hopes for a better future. Based on the overall feedback the game has received, Echoes of the End is best described as a mixed or average product. This is clearly visible in the scores on various platforms. Echoes of the End is a prime example of an ambitious project from a small studio that, due to limited resources, could not become a completely polished product. The low concurrent player count on Steam, less than 600 people, also indicates that the game has not succeeded in attracting a large user base. If you are a patient player who values narrative, puzzles, and exploration in a visually stunning world and are willing to overlook technical issues, this game can be a valuable and memorable adventure for you. However, if you are looking for an exciting action game with deep combat and no technical flaws, it might be better to wait for more patches to be released to improve performance, or to seek out other titles that offer a more flawless technical experience. Echoes of the End is a respectable and bold effort by Merkur Games that, although it faced major challenges in its first step, beautifully showcases its potential to become an outstanding game in the future.